The one that replaced that business, the restaurant. Good evening. Welcome to the December 5th Plan and Zoning Commission meeting. I will go over the rules and procedures before we get started. The Plan and Zoning Commission is generally an advisory body to the City Council. The City Council will hold a public hearing and make the final decision on all matters before the Commission other than site plans and subdivision plats, unless denials or conditional approvals thereof are appealed. Please contact the City Clerk or Development Services Department staff for details on council hearings. Applicants will be given 10 minutes to present their requests. Proponents and then opponents from the public are allowed to speak in that order, with each speaker allowed a maximum of 5 minutes. Applicant is then allowed a 5 minutes rebuttal if necessary. The hearing will then be closed and the commission will discuss and vote on the issue. All comments are to be germane to the item under consideration and speakers are to maintain a courteous manner. Items listed on the consent portion of the agenda will not be individually discussed and will be considered for approval in accordance with the recommendation in the staff report, unless a member of the audience or a member of the commission requests that the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately under the public hearing agenda. Looks like we have quorum, so I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting. Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Abstentions, same sign.
I think I voted to approve, but I wasn't here, so I will abstain.
Thanks, Emily. Motion passes. We have a couple of items on the consent agenda tonight. Item number 1 is a request from Asokamara Arkaka Buddhist Society for the following regarding property located at 4211 East 38th Street. A, the determination as to whether the requested rezoning is in conformance with the Plan DSM. B, to amend the Plan DSM to revise the future land use classification of the property from low-density residential and parks and open space to public, semi-public. And C, to rezone property from N2A Neighborhood District and F Flood District to P2 Public, Civic, and Institutional District to allow the use of the property for an assembly place of worship use. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to remove this item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there anyone from the commission? Seeing none, this item will remain on consent. And item number 2 is a request from the Des Moines Independent Community School District for review and approval of a public hearing site plan, North High School track and field, for property located at 615 Holcomb Avenue and for a Type 2 design alternative in accordance with City Code to waive installation of a sidewalk identified in the city's transportation master plan as priority 1 sidewalk gap per City Code. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to pull this item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there anyone in the commission who would like to pull this item? Seeing none, this item will remain on consent. Those are the 2 items that we have on consent tonight. I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. I believe Laura is going to abstain from item number 2. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? Same sign. and 1 abstention for item number 2. Thank you. That brings us over to the public hearing items. Item number 3 is a request from Steinbeck Properties LLC for the following regarding 2 parcels located in the vicinity of 955 24th Street. A, determination as to whether the requested rezoning is in conformance with the Plan DSM, and B, rezone the property from N5 Neighborhood District to N52 Neighborhood District to allow construction of a 2-household residential dwelling duplex. Suryoshi will present from staff.
Excuse me, Chair, we probably should pause. There is no mic at the desk, so it might be good to figure that out first, just so it's, we don't have a mic on the, yeah, sorry. Sorry, just want to make sure it's being recorded on the public.
Yes, thank you. No, that's a great catch.
Yeah, I didn't.
We get on autopilot sometimes.
Mr. Chair, Shreyashi Chakraborty, Planning Staff. I'll be presenting this item, which is a request to rezone a property in the vicinity of 955 24th Street. The request is to rezone the property from N5 Neighborhood District to N5-2 Neighborhood District to allow the construction of a 2-household residential dwelling or duplex. This item was initially scheduled at the September 19th P&Z meeting. It got continued to the October 17th meeting, and then finally it was continued to the December 5th Plan and Zoning Commission meeting tonight to allow the applicant additional time to visit with the neighborhood and talk through their project. So this is the subject property. As you can see, it's a asymmetric parcel, or I should say 2 parcels, which is on 24th Street, just to the south of the interstates. It includes 2 parcels. The parcel to the north was secured by the applicant as a result of the DOT conveying excess right-of-way. And so the proposal now is to rezone this property to allow a duplex. This is within the Woodland Heights Organization Neighborhood Association. The area of this neighborhood is roughly bounded by the interstate to the north, the MLK Junior Parkway to the east, Ingersoll corridor to the south, and 31st Street to the west. So that is generally the neighborhood area that we're looking at. The character of this neighborhood is predominantly a mix of 1 household, 2 household, as well as multiple household uses. There's also schools, institutional uses, parks, small offices, and so on. So it's a fairly diverse neighborhood. It is also located quite centrally in proximity to downtown, as well as amenities such as the Ingersoll corridor to the south, as well as schools, parks, and other amenities and places of work in the downtown area. I have some site photos to give you a context of the subject property. This is 24th Street. As you can see, it dead ends into the state right-of-way, which is up here. The subject property is behind the vegetation that you can see here. So there's a little bit of a grade elevation, if you will, in this area. This is again looking north. This is a close-up of the subject property. So it's heavily vegetated at the moment, and the sidewalk dead ends on 24th Street, just as the street does. This is looking south on 24th Street, and this gives you an idea of the character of the neighborhood generally in the vicinity of the subject site. And this is, again, another view of the street just to the south of the block where the subject property is located. This is the back side. This is the alley. It's 23rd place, but serves as alley access from the back of the subject parcel. Again, you can kind of see the elevation and the grade change here on this photograph. This is a conceptual rendering that was presented to us initially by the applicant. This has since been updated. As you can see here, what the applicant is proposing are front-loaded garage. I think staff had indicated at that time that this is not something that we would be supportive of. And so this is the floor plan. It has since been updated, and this is the latest concept that we have received from the applicant, which shows the garages in the back and a front porch and entrance from the primary street. Again, we are looking at the rezoning here. We're not looking at the site plan and the design, but this is just a conceptual rendering that gives staff some idea on what the applicant is potentially looking at for the site. So I would like to go into some of the staff rationale and then the staff recommendation. Staff does believe that the location for this duplex and the rezoning is appropriate for this area. The reason being, the subject site is slightly larger than a typical one-family household lot. Also, due to the asymmetrical shape of the parcel, it is not conducive to be subdivided into two separate parcels for two separate single-family homes. Therefore, we think that a duplex is probably a good solution for this site, given the challenges of the total square footage of the site, as well as the way the subject property is shaped in terms of the lot width. So staff thinks that from that standpoint, a duplex use is appropriate. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier, the Woodland Heights neighborhood is strategically located in an area which makes it attractive as a place to live. It is not, the subject parcels may not be within a node or immediately adjacent to a transit route, but it is in a neighborhood which is in close proximity to downtown. It is in close proximity to amenities, and it has easy access to transportation, whether it's the highway or other traffic corridors within our community. It also has access to parks, entertainment, restaurants, schools, and other amenities that somebody might look at when they are looking for housing. So from that standpoint, staff thinks that this is an appropriate location for this proposed use. I would like to point out the Woodland Heights neighborhood plan. This plan was developed a few years ago as part of the City Council's selection of Woodland Heights organization to participate in the Charter Neighborhood Program. The plan was developed with extensive input from the neighbors and the residents of the neighborhood, and housing was identified as one of the priority areas in the plan. The plan also incorporated the architectural guidelines for new construction in Woodland Heights. And what this guideline does is it provides recommendation and design guidance for future construction of similar infill housing as we are seeing in this particular proposal. Therefore, staff thinks that any new construction that happens here should substantially comply with the guidelines that have been outlined in the architectural guideline document that was incorporated in this planning process. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning from N5 to N5-2, subject to 3 conditions. The first condition is that any residential dwelling shall be oriented towards 24th Street. Any residential building shall substantially conform to the architectural guidelines for new construction in Woodland Heights to the satisfaction of the Planning and Urban Design Administrator. And finally, any vehicular access to the site, parking shall be provided from 23rd Place. A driveway from the 24th Street shall be prohibited. With that, I would like to mention that the applicant conducted a couple neighborhood outreach efforts. The first was a online Zoom meeting, which unfortunately, due to some miscommunication, a lot of the neighbors were not able to attend. Therefore, the neighborhood association requested the applicant to do a second neighborhood outreach meeting during one of their regularly scheduled neighborhood meetings, and the applicant did do that and provided a summary. Some of the issues that came up during the scheduled meeting was just concerns with rental units and how well the alley that's to the back, which has a significant slope, how well that would hold up during construction, as well as, again, issues with it potentially being a rental and what that might do to the stability of the neighborhood in that area. And the applicant can provide further details, but this is the summary that was provided to us. We also received quite a few emails and comment cards for this project. This is the first email that was received. This is in support of the project. The next few emails are all in opposition. I might zoom in a little bit so you can read this. This is a photograph that was provided with the email, which shows that there appears to be an illegal parking issue where the street dead ends into the interstate right of way. And the subject property is just to the east where my cursor is. I will just stay here for a few minutes so you can read through this email. And I'll be happy to come back to it if you would like me to at a later time. This is the letter from the neighborhood association requesting that the applicant conduct a second neighborhood outreach meeting. Subsequently, we did receive another letter from the neighborhood association, and this is to indicate that the neighborhood association does not support the request to rezone the parcels, and as you can see, there are some reasons that have been outlined by the neighborhood. And I'll let you read through that. The following few slides are the comment cards that were received in opposition to the project. And I will just scan through these. This is the consent map. Please note that some of the comment cards that we received were not within our consent boundary area, but these are the properties that were. This does bring up the opposition percentage to 34.38%, and that requires a supermajority vote from City Council for an approval as a result of the opposition. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions.
I just have two, and one might be for the applicant, but are they, as far as you know, is the applicant in agreement with your recommendation in its entirety?
That is what I believe. We haven't heard that they are not in agreement with the conditions.
Okay. And so even if we approved it tonight, it would still need a supermajority at city council no matter what?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Do you have a direct photo of the street looking at the property?
Yeah.
Facing the street.
I do not have, as you can see, the property is right behind this tree and the parked vehicle. So if I stood here and took a picture, I couldn't get anything looking
It's a vacant
directly.
lot there.
It is a vacant lot. Yeah, and I can show you here in the aerial. It might be a little bit more clear, but yeah. So it's vacant. It's currently vacant right now, but there's a lot of vegetation just right here and then to the back as well.
One of the conditions is that they have to park off of 23rd Place.
Yeah.
So the duplex is oriented towards 24th Street, but you park off of the alley.
That's correct. The garage would be at the back, and they would be parking from the alley.
Other questions?
Is that a requirement because 23rd Place was an alley originally, or why, given the trapezoid is bigger on one side than the other, why not let the front be on 23rd, or is 23rd really a lot more of an alley back there than a road?
It functions as an alley, even though it's 23rd Place, but it does function as a alley. And I think the reasoning behind this would be 24th would be the primary street, and we wouldn't want a front-loaded garage that's facing 24th Street.
None of the other houses in that vicinity are oriented towards what really is an alley. They're all oriented the other direction, so
Yeah.
it'd be out of character.
Right.
Does the latest rendering provided by the applicant meet the neighborhood architectural standards that are quoted?
We haven't done any review against the standards. I mean, I think that, at the zoning stage, the key here, from our perspective, is they've acknowledged that the garages can't be on the front, but we'll have to take the time to look at this, and, if the project moves forward and this is in fact what they would submit for their building permit requests, then we would evaluate a little closer. I don't know, Shreyoshi, if you spent any time, I think this came in relatively recently.
Yeah, this just came in a couple days ago, but yeah, it's just a concept at this point, so we can't make an evaluation whether it does meet the standards or not.
And then the other question I had, currently it's 2 lots, correct? Technically, they can build 1 home on each lot if they want it, assuming that they meet the bulk requirements?
Yeah, they would, that is the challenge with these two parcels, because of the, as you can see, it's fairly, just doesn't have enough lot width to be able to be subdivided into two separate lots, so that would be a challenge,
It'd probably take a fairly creative design and some design alternatives.
yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff?
Was the parking issue actually germane to this? Is there any reason to believe that the cars belonged to the applicant or anything else, or just there's people parking at the end of the street?
We can't say for certain who the cars belong to. It seems like it's been an ongoing issue that it probably has been in existence even before the applicant came up with this proposal. But we can't say for certain who the cars belong to or who's parking there. But there are no parking signs there, so the cars are being parked illegally on the street currently.
But if anything, this goes in, that it sort of probably is going to get rid of that problem, won't it? People probably won't park there if it's used.
That could potentially be the case.
Yeah, you'd certainly have more eyes on it, so to draw more attention, and a neighbor who, I think this is probably one of the neighbors, maybe a little social pressure of knowing they're using what's in front of a property as their own private parking might help, actually.
Okay, well, I will invite the applicant to the podium. Please state your name and address. You have up to 10 minutes, and you can sign in after you're done.
Hello, my name is Usman Haq. I'm the owner. I'm requesting a rezoning of those two parcels to duplex. And, I don't think we could do two separate houses on there. So that's hence the requirement, requesting a rezoning to a duplex. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions for the applicant?
Are you happy with what's recommended?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, and I understand that it needs to look similar to what the area is. So, yes, I am.
Have you considered just doing a single-family home, or are you committed to a duplex?
I think that might be a better use. That, from my perspective, is that, because then it's kind of like a lot and a half, I guess, is the thing. So that's why.
So if you do the duplex, these are going to be rentals, is that?
I haven't decided yet. Initially it was rental, but then I moved from Ames to Cedar Falls, so I am not 100% sure, but initially the plan was a rental.
Okay. I saw some concerns in the comment cards about it being rentals and stable.
Yep, that was the initial plan was the rental, but since I moved, I may sell it. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Are there any members of the public who would like to speak in favor of this project? Any members who would like to speak against this project? You are welcome to come up to the podium, state your name and address. You have up to 5 minutes, and then you can sign in afterwards.
It's not like the city council, so I can't, or is that where you can? My name is Lila Dozier. Oh, I'm supposed to sign it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. My name is Lila Dozier. I live at 741 27th, and I've been with the neighborhood organization for over 40 years. And I lived in the neighborhood since 1980, and I know a lot about the neighborhood and the history and everything. I'd first like to, before I didn't memorize it, I have to read it. But I should correct some misinformation right before I start. 23rd Place, which you keep referring to as an alley, is not an alley. Prior to the freeway, it connected, 24th connected north, and 23rd Place connected north to School Street and then Day Street. And that was Elmwood School, which is now the New Life Center. And a lot of the children in the area before the freeway went to Elmwood School. 23rd Place is a street. It's not an alley. Never was. There were houses there. There's still available lots on 23rd Place. You met a builder in this organization, this commission, last month, whose name was Mike Duvall. He's building a house right now on 23rd Place. I know you can't tell by the trees and everything, but there's still lots available on the other side of 23rd Place for infill. So it's a street. I know it looks like an alley, but it's not. I just wanted to present you with facts about this northeast part of our neighborhood. Where this property sits, it is not near a node or any public transit. And due to the freeway, this property and all others in this same area have only one entrance and exit to this part of the neighborhood. There's about 50 homes. And you have to go to 24th and Olive to connect, to go anywhere. So you have to go from that part of the neighborhood, you have to go to 24th, and then you can go south. And you'd have to go south to Center. So there's only one connection, which has been a real problem. The street is narrow. It's an original 24-foot wide road with on-street parking, which you saw. Fire trucks, school buses, and utility trucks cannot make the hard right turn onto Olive without jumping the curb, because it's a hard right with no radius. So it's fire trucks, no. School buses, no. Utility trucks, no. For the freeway expansion, they had to put a temporary road in from Cottage Grove exit to 22nd Street so they could even get their equipment to do the sewer work. This property sits 20 to 30 feet below the freeway, with all water runoff going to the south onto this property and many others on 24th Street. All properties in this area have to rely on sump pumps and dehumidifiers because of the high water table. Slab on grade is very susceptible to frost heave. The investment reality at a conservative $150 per square foot, which is the current, very conservative, it's the low end of building costs. The proposed 1,600 square foot per unit duplex would have a building cost estimate of around $480,000. Rent would have to be set at or above $2,230 per month to just cover the investment cost. Top rents in this area are $1,500 a month. This actual construction cost would not appraise out in this area. A single-family home for around $240,000 where it sits would appraise out. We have 3 home builders right now that are interested in this property for a single-family home. The NFC, Invest Des Moines, and BTD Builders, that's Mike DeWall, who is building a house right now very near there on 23rd Place. The Woodland Heights plan and procedures submitted and approved in both 1991 and 2013 to you, the City Council, and the Polk County Board of Supervisors.
Ma'am, you're over your 5 minutes. If you can
Call for the priority.
wrap up your final thoughts, please.
Call for the priority of single-family home replacement in this area because we lost all of the homes to the freeway. Our reasoning then and still is for our position is existing density problems and infrastructure limitations, equality and diversity to help build investments for family wealth and community strength for all races and various incomes. So that's why we've been opposed to this rezoning. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Please sign in on the white sheet. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Please come up to the podium. You have up to 5 minutes. State your name and address, and you can sign in afterwards.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kim Hansen. I live at 955, I live at 2132 Olive Avenue. And so this intersection at 24th and Olive is my primary entrance in and out of our area. We used to live at 2100 Olive, and we've built new construction there back in 2008. So we're very familiar with the area and the issues that arise with current traffic flows at 24th and Olive. I guess what I'd like to say is I thought Cameron that sent in the letter on behalf of our neighborhood association really recapped like my husband's concerns. There's quite a few neighbors, just given the time of year, that couldn't also be here that had submitted their opposition cards. But that Cameron really highlighted a lot of the things we discussed at our neighborhood meeting with Steinbeck Properties. And a couple that I'd like to just repoint out is that our current rental ratio in the neighborhood, ideally, even according to city standards, should be around 30%, even after all of the work that homeowners and neighbors like Lila that have been busy for 40 years committing their time to this. We are still currently at 50% rental occupancy. And so we do believe that the focus needs to be on a single-family home with a owner-occupied and someone that's vested in the property there. Additionally, our concerns are because of the fact that the developer indicated at our neighborhood meeting that they would be interested and eager to sell, and he just also said that again this evening, that perhaps there's a desire to get this switched over to a duplex authorized property so that it would be more valuable should they turn around and sell it. And then we'd find ourselves back here again with a future developer trying to ensure that that duplex development was consistent with our neighborhood standards and guidelines. So that's concerning to us. And I know there's been a lot of conversation about an alley or whether it's a street. I would say in either position, it's not maintained very well. I mean, there's no curbs on it. As you can see from the one picture, it didn't even go all the way back behind this property. So we ask, who's going to eventually create that extended alley street? It kind of, you can see it kind of in this area right here. It turns into gravel and goes towards the property to the east. So over here is where 955 24th is at, and there's, and the other property continues up this way. So who's going to be responsible for that infrastructure? And then obviously looking at the condition that it's currently in, and you have excavating equipment, construction materials being delivered, there's obviously going to be deterioration, and I don't know if that's something that's covered here, but we have concerns as neighbors where those funds are going to come from to, I guess, maintain what's there and hopefully eventually improve it if there are going to be more people utilizing it as a main in and out access. Additionally, at the corner of 24th and Olive right now, there is no stop sign. And so we already have a traffic issue where people just simply don't stop and dart right out onto 24th Street. And so, and that's where Lila was indicating it's already a narrow turn when you have people turning in. And if you don't have people that are exiting off of Olive onto 24th heading south, even yielding because there's no stop sign, just more, I guess, traffic concentration from people living there is a concern to us. And at this point, I guess I would say, additionally, I know that there were a lot of houses that are just to the south of Olive here that are all new construction that Lila and a lot of the neighbors worked on for many years to get 20 new homes that were built. And their commitment to those people then were that they would continue to focus on getting single-family homes into that area. So you had 20 homeowners that invested in that vision and that commitment and from the city and from the neighborhood association. And so I think, we should do whatever we can to honor all of those efforts that were put in before us. I think that's all I have in case anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please don't forget to sign in on that white sheet.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to this project? Anyone neutral? Seeing none, the applicant does have 5 minutes for rebuttal.
So I think primarily concern is basically it being a rental unit, because I think that's what I get it from the. And then as far as I think the parking problem will probably go away once it gets built. That's one thing. And then the construction is going to happen, so I'm not sure if I can solve the alley problem if the construction either single family or a duplex, that construction will happen on there. And then as far as the cost for building a duplex, it's I think it's going to be more. You would get more housing because there is a shortage of housing, so there's going to be more housing, and then it'll be, I think long term it will help the area. So I mean, single families, if you're looking at it, the way the cost is currently, probably wouldn't recover anything. And then the third, she mentioned that there were 3 builders that are interested. I think one person contacted me, but nobody has put in anything to say, hey, they want to buy it or they don't want to buy it. So I don't have any offer from any builder at this point.
Question to the applicant?
I have a question, please. Whether this is a street or an alley north of Olive is another question, but as I look at it and have seen the pictures, it's the condition as a corridor for traffic is not particularly good. Do you have any plans to improve that corridor?
You're talking about in the back where it is? So the 60-foot lot that is there has that alley is there. And then, of course, there's going to be a driveway to the parking, so that's going to be a brand-new driveway there. So it will get updated there, so. And, what I can do within the property that I own, definitely going to be there, and it'll be brand-new, so.
Thank you.
I've got a question as well.
Yep.
Do you intend to follow through and build this, or are you planning on selling it?
I am planning on building it.
Okay.
My initial plan was to build it and rent it out. And then the only reason I'm considered selling it is because I moved to Cedar Falls, but there is a chance that my wife's job will move back to Ames, and then if we do, then I will plan on keeping it.
Okay. If this did not pass the rezoning and was not allowed to be buildable for a duplex, what would you think about doing in that case?
Is it possible? At the neighborhood, another request was that there is a zero lot line where you could have two separate houses next to each other. That I don't know if that's a possibility or not, because that's one option. And then I guess if it doesn't, nothing else, then probably single family would be the last. Yeah.
Thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and let the commissioners deliberate.
I just want Jason or someone from staff to clarify something that I think is probably correct. The lady mentioned in opposition that she was worried if he sold it, they wouldn't have to meet the architectural guidelines for the Woodland Heights neighborhood. But that is part of the staff recommendation, so that would follow the property, correct?
Right, the zoning, any zoning conditions stay with the land, so if it does sell, those would carry on.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I would like to comment. I live in Beaverdale, and there are a number of single-family homes and duplexes in the neighborhood, and it's both an asset. It's not a negative, and density will not be increased any significant amount by adding a duplex instead of a single-family home. So I would motion that we approve the applicant's application.
Is that a motion to move staff? We have a motion on the floor unless there's additional discussion. All those in favor of the motion to move staff recommendation, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us over to item number 4, which is a request from Luis Ochoa for the following regarding property located at 617 Scott Avenue. A, determination as to whether the requested rezoning is in conformance with the Plan DSM. And B, to rezone the property from DXR Downtown District to Limited MX3 Mixed Use District to allow a vehicle maintenance and repair minor use. Suriyoshi will present from staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sriyoshi Chakraborty, planning staff. I'll be presenting this item, which is a request to rezone a property at 617 Scott Avenue from DXR Downtown District to Limited MX3 Mixed Use District to allow a vehicle maintenance and repair minor use. This is the subject property. It's located at the intersection of Scott Avenue and 7th Street. So this is just a block south of the ML King Jr. Parkway. It is to the south of the downtown and the East Village area. It is also immediately south of the Market District. So it is right at the kind of the fringe of the downtown area. It includes some light industrial as well as residential uses. That's the general character of the area. This property, the subject property, is a business, auto repair business that's associated with the adjoining parcel, which is at 605 Scott Avenue. If you can see my cursor, the applicant owns both of these parcels, and the property on 605 Scott Avenue has had some ongoing code violations, which the applicant is trying to work on over the years. However, in the meantime, the applicant has acquired this subject property that is highlighted and is under consideration and has expanded a non-conforming use that's not allowed in the DXR district. So the proposal here is to look at this parcel and to rezone it to a limited MX3 district, which would allow the business to continue to operate in an area that's primarily meant for a different type of use, meaning more downtown-oriented uses that are proposed in the Market District and the East Village area. I have some pictures here, again, to give you a context of the site. So the subject property at 617 Scott Avenue includes this one-story building that you see here with the garage doors. This is Scott Avenue right here. The adjoining parcel, which also has the use and belongs to the applicant, is right here. You can see my cursor. There's parking of vehicles which are within the right-of-way, as you can see here. This is another view of Scott Avenue, and again, you can see the cars are parked within the tree lawn area outside of the property. Again, I would remind you that these two businesses are owned by the applicant. The property that we're looking at is to the east, and this is the adjoining parcel. This is another view. This is from Southeast 7th, and this is the back of the subject property. And it has, again, it has some doors, some outdoor storage and parking, which has been screened. These are some older pictures provided by the zoning inspector. As you can see, there's some outdoor storage, parking of vehicles. So with that, I'd like to talk about staff's recommendation and the rationale behind the recommendation. Staff believes that the rezoning to a limited MX3 district would be appropriate so long as the subject property is developed and brought into conformance based on the recommended zoning conditions of approval, which are outlined later. This enables the applicant to continue an existing business that's been there while resolving some of the ongoing code violations that are associated with the parcel to the west, and then bringing this subject property to compliance to continue use as an auto repair business. And so long as the property is developed with the zoning conditions, staff does believe that it would be appropriate for this area and would fit the character of the area. So with that, I would like to go over the conditions that staff is recommending. And the conditions are permitted uses shall be limited to vehicle sales and service, vehicle maintenance, repair, minor, and any use as permitted and in common with and limited by the DXR district. DXR is the existing district for this area. Any use of the property shall be in accordance with an approved site plan. The following conditions provide a concrete timeline to the applicant, which sets up some expectations both on the part of the applicant and staff in order to get the site plan going and bring the site to compliance. So you will be seeing some dates here. So that is just to provide the applicant a timeframe in order to bring the site into conformance with an approved site plan. Condition number 5 is any principal building on the site shall conform to the storefront or general building type regulations pursuant to Chapter 135. And this is to ensure that in the future, if this, the existing building were to go away and a new building was reconstructed, that the building type would conform to what fits in this area. And therefore, staff feels that the storefront or general building type would be the most appropriate in the event that this site redevelops in the future with the new building. And the final condition is all overhead garage doors on the primary facade facing Scott Avenue shall be removed and replaced with walls and windows compliant with Chapter 135. As you saw in the pictures, there's a couple overhead garage doors that front Scott Avenue. Staff does feel that it is very out of character for this area, and so staff's expectation is that those overhead garage doors will be removed and will be replaced with appropriate walls and windows as per our code. It does lead to a couple concerns that staff has, one of them being the architectural element, to ensure that it fits the architectural character of the area. There's also traffic safety issues with the driveways that come out from the garage doors. Therefore, having the garage doors fronting Scott Avenue does create a traffic safety concerns. Additionally, it does take up space on the tree lawn, and again, it changes the character of the streetscape. So based on all of those concerns, staff is recommending this final condition that the garage doors along Scott Avenue be removed. We did not receive any comment cards or emails either in support or in opposition to the proposal. The applicant did schedule a neighborhood meeting. It appears that there were no attendees that came to the meeting. They did have a phone call conversation with one of the neighbors, which was very positive, and the applicant can elaborate more on that. And that concludes my presentation, so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
And just to clarify, there are overhead doors on the backside of the building that exist today as well that would be able to be retained.
I guess I do have the same question as last time, which maybe is for the applicant, but have they been okay with everything that you've laid out here?
My understanding is that they are okay with most of the conditions. They do have maybe one or two that they are not in agreement, and they would like to speak to the commission about it.
I have a question on item number 5. So any principal building on the site, you mean the current buildings, right? No, you don't mean that?
No, if the current building were to be demolished and in the future the site was developed with a new building, then they would have to conform to the storefront or general building.
Okay, so any future principal building on the site is what that means?
Yes, yeah, it's not mandating that they adjust. The only thing that mandates action on the existing building is the next condition.
That might be worth clarifying on that point.
I have a question on Scott Avenue. It appears there are sidewalks on the adjacent blocks. Is there also a sidewalk along this property today where there's the parking and the garage doors?
Yes, I believe there is.
Yeah, there's sidewalks on, looking at the aerial on both streets.
Both sides.
But that's, if you go to the slide 4.
It's up against the building.
Oops.
That's right.
Sorry. Yeah, it's right, the building is right next to the sidewalk, so it's hard to see.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? not, I will invite the applicant to the podium. Please state your name and address. You have up to 10 minutes. And you can sign in afterwards.
My name's Edwin Ochoa. I live at 1205 Leland Ave. This is my father. He's the owner of Mobile Super Service. He lives at 3200 Southeast 5th. I think with everything that we've gone through, I think we agree with most of it. The one question that somebody did ask, I didn't catch you, but number 5, it does say the store and general building, storefront general building. In case of an accident per se, does this mean that we would have to change our business type to continue forward in case, let's say, it burns down, weather hits us, something happens? Does that mean that we would have to change our business at that point, or we would just have to adjust a little bit?
Yeah,
How would that work, I guess?
All that is doing is there's different building forms, and then, uses go into those buildings. In the MX3 zoning district, the building types that are forms that are associated with that are storefront, general building, commercial cottage, commercial center, and then civic building, which you're not building a civic building here, but as staff, we just filled out the 4, the one that if you were either to build a second building on the site, further back, add on, that sort of stuff, or if you lost the building in a fire, something of that nature, or wanted to replace it, the 2 buildings types that make the most sense are the storefront and the general building type. Thinking of the character of the area, both of where this area is going. And I think that's a key thing to remember, not too far from here is like Eagle View Lofts. Shreya, she already mentioned MLK. This is an area that's in transition, and that's really the intent of what we're recommending staff is to recognize this is an area of transition, try to give you some flexibility to grow your business while also not messing up that transition, kind of finding that happy middle ground. So you would, to more specifically answer your question, you could do your business. The zoning condition wouldn't prohibit you from doing your business in a new building. It's just the new building would have to fit the character of either a storefront or a
I
general
could still
building.
run my business, but maybe I need to change the design out a little bit.
Right.
Okay. And that's just per se. And again, with everything that we got, I think we agree with everything. Even the timeline we're okay with. We feel like it's a little short. Even if, let's just say, our site plan gets approved by July, I don't see there being big changes to the property that would take a huge amount of time. Maybe the biggest obstacle, I think, would be getting the back paved because it's gravel right now, getting something more solid. And we're, like I've always said, we're definitely up for the change and making the area look better. We do have, like in the picture, we do have a couple cars that are parked in the front. One thing we would like to do, if possible, or negotiate some way, is number 6. Those overhead doors have been there for many years. Multiple businesses before me have ran through there. We've actually visited that place before we've even owned it back in, I think, maybe early 2000s, and it was a paint shop, repair shop. After that, and when some type of warehouse where it is the guy that we bought it from. So the doors have always been there. Traffic-wise, I could see why that could be an issue. I mean, I think if we all work together, I think traffic has never been an issue. We've never had an accident happen there, either in or out. The main purpose for all this is for our business to flow a little better and not feel like we're condensed into one area, and be able to open up a little bit, be able to provide better services for the community, and also quicker. So our main goal for that building at 617 is for maybe a quick tire lube, quick tire change. If my customer has to come in the back way and come out the front, we could accommodate that. We're also willing to, if we're allowed to keep the doors, have absolutely 0 cars parked in the front effective immediately. So if we're allowed to keep those doors in the front that have always been there, we would also accommodate, I would like to work, with whoever is going to be in charge, my inspector, to make sure there's absolutely 0 cars parked in the front, even if it is overnight. And that's one of the things that we're catching is some people are coming in, leaving cars overnight. So we'll have to find a different way to address that, so that way that doesn't continue to happen. Whether it's something where we can talk to the people that are coming in, being able to get into the lot, we can work with our tow companies to make sure that doesn't keep happening. But that would be I think that would be our only thing. Or if you guys have any type of better recommendation, I mean, we would like to keep that on the back side of that door. There isn't a door, so the big door that you see in the front, closer to the west, there's no actual door on the rear side of that building, so that would be the only way in. There's no way out. So our idea is to keep the front door, add one in the back so the traffic can go in and out the other way and not catching a car reversing out into the street, if that makes any sense.
Well,
I think
we've already visited, and he already knows that I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
6 is.
And I said, I'd run it, it's.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were looking for me. From the staff perspective, we're trying to find a happy middle ground. This is really, like I said, this is an area that is transforming a downtown type of an urban environment. We respect on the staff side that you're there and want to see you be successful, and what we've done is tried to walk that line between allowing you to do that, but also thinking about the future of the area. But this is the staff recommendation. You're welcome as the commission to.
Yeah, and moving forward, we've been at this area since '06. This is a family-owned business. We're from the south side. We've done nothing to give back to the community. A lot of people know. That's why nobody's coming up and saying, hey, we don't agree with this. I got a message saying that they fully support us with everything that we do. The community's been nothing but great for us. We don't plan or foresee going anywhere. I foresee me taking over and continuing the dream that he's put down. So, for us, it would be nice. We have some obstacles, as some of you guys may know. With 605, we have some obstacles that we need to get into, and we're going to. And with 617, it's another obstacle that we're going to overcome, especially within the time frame. I think it gives us enough time. And if not, like I said, it would be just something minor that we might get into 2026. Nothing like we're at a standstill point, which I think I talked to Jason. As long as there's movement, I think we should be okay. Like I said, with everything being said, I think we're okay with everything. Just the two garage doors in the front, we would like to keep it, and to accommodate that, and the parking in front of that area, just end it. Like, there's no more, but just be able to keep those two doors. If I got to put grass in the middle of the two doors and off to the sides to accommodate, make it look better, make it look nicer, I'm all for it. I'm all for making the community look better, for sure. I know we don't fit in with the market and probably the restaurants and everything around, because we're a car shop, kind of in the middle of everything that you guys have planned, but we mean, by all means, we mean good. We're locally from Des Moines. We've been from Des Moines a long time. So, we were just here to work with you guys. We're not investors. We're not these big companies. This is my dad. I'm his son. We're here, trying to make things happen. That's all it is. So, yeah.
Can we look at the pictures of the garage doors some more?
It might also be helpful to pull up pictometry. I don't know how easy that would be, because you can see all sides of the building. You can see where the overhead doors in the backside are.
While we're looking for that, can you talk more about how these garage doors figure in with your business, like your day-to-day and?
Well, because the idea of 617, as we're trying to accommodate and, like I said, meet somewhere in the middle, 605 is a full repair shop. We do car, remote starts, everything. 617, we're planning to do something more of a quick in, quick out, and not to push.
Highlight the parcel.
Since I'm talking quick, and not to push traffic back into the street quick, we would have the customer either pull in or come out, either on Scott to avoid him, like I said, reversing out or getting in, so he could come out the other way. We have multiple exits to accommodate that a little bit.
So you're saying it?
Do you want both overhead doors or just one?
So just very,
The building, the new ones have 4 bays. The 2 bays have doors. There are 2 bases, windows.
So only the first two, the 2 doors that you're seeing, out of the 2 doors that you're seeing in the front, as you can see now, only one of the back doors has an exit. Inside the building, it's not like it's a big open shop. It's a big wall. It's a big straight, so it's a big end area. So where you see that little door in the back is where we technically would like to add a garage door. And that's the reason why we want to move forward, to be able to accommodate the proper parking in the proper area. Because right now we are very condensed. We're very condensed. We've dropped work. We've even cut some hours because we're not able to push properly cars in a quick turnaround time as we want to. Some people are working, they can't come in. Sometimes we got parts delayed. So we want to accommodate our area, our whole site, to look a lot better than it is now and be able to provide more of a cleaner site for the community and not being able to look like it is right now. So we have been working a lot with the inspector to make sure that he sees a change here and there, and especially back in the area behind 617. I know in here it says something that we've legally moved our business into that side, but we haven't. We use the back parking space to park cars and accommodate more business, but we haven't actually opened the doors and started working inside those garages. We have not.
Right, and we don't need to get into the weeds, but I mean, occupying the property in general, because this property lost, it had been vacant for an extended period of time, so it lost its legal non-conforming rights to the auto types of, industrial, non-DXR uses. So that's all that was meant by that. We weren't saying.
We don't know, we're just some people from the community. We don't know all the ins and outs and how the city works. We ask questions, we try and do what we can. You say vacant, but I bought it from the guy, from the owner of the before, which was like some type of parking lot cleaning company. He had cars in the back, trailers, big dumpster trucks that cleaned the roads. He had the garage fully in use. He had many stuffs inside, many cars, machinery. When I bought it, I mean, we barely were able to buy the building, so we mainly bought it for the purpose of keeping the building until we can get some money and using it back for a little parking. That was our wrongdoing by maybe not asking you guys first. We understand that, but we didn't think it was going to be a problem until we started seeing the inspector, hey, you can't park back there because, like you're saying, we don't have that.
Right, and it's complicated because your existing site, there's been some struggles with getting it into conform. It's been.
Yeah, like I said, we're willing to overcome. I think we've showed Giovanni some improvements. We've seen those improvements. We actually went ahead and the front, it's dirt, now it's grass.
Giovanni's the inspector for the area they've been working with, just for clarity, but anyway.
So does that mean we sort of, in order for this to be used, because of like the last time we had that non-conforming thing, because it lapsed, we couldn't be non-conforming again, we actually do have to change zoning for this to be usable again?
That's correct.
Is that right?
To do what he's wanting to do, we need to rezone the property.
Okay, so right now, it sounds like we have a car business that's expanding, that's operating, that's positive, that is a community member that seems like is doing right. It seems like the doors, if you're going to be efficient with this building, we need to keep the front and the back. So it actually operates like a Jiffy Lube, right? So it can quickly come in. I won't end up with a whole bunch of traffic in the back. I won't end up with the safety issues or lack of use of that back space. So there's a business reason for keeping them. It's not just they like garage doors, right? So I mean, it does seem like there is a purpose there. So we do need to rezone if we want the site to be operating, and we do need the doors if we want it to flow in a logical sense. Is that the argument that everyone's making?
I would say so, yeah, you're kind of on the right page. And like I said, you see the door coming out, and from the picture you had before, there's no door actually coming out on the back side. And you see where there's a car parked on the side, somebody had left a car there, but that makes a good marking point where I do have a second exit. So that is a gated area, that is a driveway right there, that's obviously gravel. So we would intend on fixing that, so that way a car could come in, whatever, once fixed, whatever helps traffic flow.
So there's a wall that westernmost is really a separate building.
Technically, that's
So it only,
that's four separate buildings.
Right, but what I'm getting, so my question is, there's only really one way in and one way out of that part of the site. So you got back out?
Just that second door, you can go in and come out the back, that's it, the first door.
So there is an opening between the two?
No, there's not.
Then how are you getting out, because the overhead door on the back side is straight off of this one?
So that first door to the right of me, you see where in the roof, that's a big wall.
Right.
The only thing that joins that
But
first
there's
door.
not an overhead door behind it.
No, there's not. So I would. So I would add it.
I know,
Yeah.
so if you're in that unit, the only way, you're not passing through, you're backing out.
Right, so that's why we would add a overhead door on the other side.
Okay.
To
I
help
didn't
traffic
catch
flow.
that you intend to add an overhead door.
Yeah, there's a service there door now, so where that service door is
Okay.
now, I would like to add something similar to the front door. And I'm not looking into getting into big commercial trucks or big commercial vehicles. I'm talking cars, trucks, SUVs. Nothing big, heavy duty, nothing.
So we're basically looking to turn this into two pass-through bays. So if I'm understanding the picture, it's on the screen. What you're saying is the left-hand door on the screen here has an adjoining pass-through door on the back side. The right one does not. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so the one closer to you has a door in the back and in the front.
The
So in
west,
order to-
the west one does.
And if you want,
I mean, we're looking south, that's why that's why I'm using
Can
left
you
and
scroll
right.
back? Yep,
'cause-
so that's the one on your side, the garage door on your side does have a garage door on the front and the back, but it does not connect to the right building.
But what you're hoping to do,
Is
though,
use
is
the
to
right
use-
door to go in and out, the
So-
back way. Like a
So it's two doors, two bays,
Yep.
in and out
Two
from
bays,
both
in and out.
both
One
sides.
can operate as a pass-through, the other cannot yet without a new door on the back side.
Correct, without a
But you
garage door
can't-
put in the rear.
You need to go to pictometry and then circle back around. I mean, at this point, I think everybody might be understanding, but
To me, it seems that the parking on the, is a bigger problem, a bigger eyesore. If you get rid of the parking, the doors are not that much of a
We've
distraction,
been
in my opinion.
working on the parking for some time.
Yep. and-
Francis, are you talking about the parking in the front where
On
those?
Scott, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I was going to mention that.
Parking on the
That's
stop,
been
is that right?
ongoing.
Scott,
The sidewalk on the right of way.
right.
So coming to something, like I said, we're willing to work with you guys. We're going to make everybody happy. We want to meet a good standing ground. We would completely stop. There would be no parking in front of those garage doors or off to the side where I think she came in today, grabbed a couple pictures, a couple cars parked there. There would be no parking absolutely in the front. We would accommodate everything to be inside. The front two doors would be used to coming in and coming out or going, whatever flows traffic. We'll have to play with it a little bit, yes. Whatever makes traffic flow a little better. Customers come in through 605, exit out 617, keep it real smooth. Honestly, we're just overseeing hopefully better numbers in the future. Right now, even if you guys said, yes, go ahead, I don't have enough business to do it, but hopefully with opening the doors on both sides, we're able to create a little bit more business way our way.
So can I try and summarize what I heard is, we don't want to park on the street.
Yes.
If we have the doors, both doors on the front, add one door on the back, we can flow through from the back. As soon as the car is done, you just drive it out, it doesn't stop, doesn't pass go, we're just out of the place.
Yes.
Which hits what we want, which is not streets on,
And I don't
doors
want to
there.
keep, I don't mean to keep my garages open either. I like to keep it
Yep.
nice, discreet, open it, car goes out, we close the door back down,
Yeah.
Now, it's not gonna be like big open garage doors, walk in as you please. By that point, we have 605 is where the customer will come in, assign his appointment, or if it's an appointment time, pull in.
And I'm not trying to be pedantic, I just know at our house, sometimes we're aggressively agreeing with each other. It sounds like we're all aggressively agreeing with each other right now on what we want to happen. That's all I'm trying to say. Hey, I think we're all wanting to go the same place.
I think we're almost there. I really do think that we're working together. At first, I felt like it was a dead end, now I feel a little better about the situation.
Chris, you want to make a motion?
No, we haven't closed the public hearing yet.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there a curb there?
No.
No, I mean, as far as the site plan, they're gonna have to put in a curb and make improvements and put street trees in.
It seems like if there's a curb, that's gonna curb a lot of this parking right there. So I didn't know so that would be the property owner's expense to put a curb in.
Right,
It would
I
be
mean, they have a
That'll be
lot
part
of,
of the
stuff. That's
site
part of the site
Yep.
plan, yeah.
It would be part of that, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions for the applicant?
I don't think so. Anybody got questions?
Well, thank you. Please don't forget to sign in.
Okay.
Seeing no members of the public, I will go ahead and close the public hearing and let the commission deliberate.
I'll do a motion and would delete number 5.
6.
Was it? 6. It was 6, oh, yeah, that's right, 6. Yeah, delete 6, I'm sorry, and then adopt staff.
We have a motion.
Is there anything we need to do about allowing for the doors on the back? Because you're going to have to switch one service door with a new door. If
No,
it's not on the
that's-
primary, that's fine.
Since we have a site plan that has to be submitted, I think some of the design features will have to be handled at that point.
Okay, that's one, okay.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Unless there's any additional comments, it's to move staff, but remove condition number 6. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes.
Congratulations,
I
fellas.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Are there any directors' reports?
Bert, is there anything I can't think of anything either, other than, make sure you have a snack before the next meeting.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.